All right, brothers. First, I would like to welcome you all to this MIP automation call. This is a major new step for the fraternity. We're now moving digital and moving away from paper when it comes to submitting your MIP forms. What does that mean? Everything from submitting the PBS-7C to payment will now be available within the chapter portal. This should make the process a lot more efficient when it comes to getting everything to the regional directors for approval, and then also getting it to us so we can make sure that all of your materials are delivered on time and by the initiation date for your new members. All of this processing will be going through the chapter portal, and as you all should know, the only people that have access to the chapter portal are chapter officers. And most of the stuff is going to be done by your MIP chairs, which is a position that is in the chapter portal. For collegiate chapters, advisors can do this type of data entry, and actually so can state directors. I'm going to go over the steps of this MIP automation. And of course, it starts within the chapter portal. The first step is, of course, you're in the chapter portal, and you go to chapter management, followed by actions, and then submit request for intake approval. All you brothers should be MIP certified, and you know the first step is to submit the PBS-7C. This is the same exact document, except that it will be digital. So after we click submit request for intake approval, we're now hitting continue. And because I did this last night, it's not allowing me to do it all the way, so I'm going to go to another chapter's portal to show you how to enter it in. Submit request for intake approval. Continue. And what you'll see is this blank box right here. You will click on that box, hit continue. And as you see, the same PBS-7C form, however, it is digital. The asterisks mean that the fields are required, so there's no way getting around this. And for the collegiate chapters, as we know, you're supposed to have a university approval to go along with your 7C. Right here is where you would attach that file. You click choose file, and you can choose it from your documents. And just to show you that if you were to skip any field and try to hit continue, well, outside of logging me out, it's going to not let you move forward. 1 second, brothers. All right, going back over that again. Click the clear box. And we're hitting continue without entering anything in. And as you see, it shows all of the required fields. Just like the 7C, your required fields are when you did the anti-hazing workshop, when you're having your interest meeting or informal meeting, the dates and time, the location of the informal meeting, and the participants. Same thing, and same fields will be for the interview and all the modules and the initiation. When you're typing in your participants, this is free form, so it's not going to pre-select. You have to type in those participants along with member numbers, as it says right here in the text. I can do a brief example just to show you all how it looks. Just copy and paste all this information in. And just put stuff in just so you guys can see what it'll end up looking like. just print. It will let me. There we go. Move my stuff from last time. Oops. Now what it will do is once you have all the fields populated, you then hit continue. And then it'll show you a brief overview of everything you typed. And in order for it to fully go through, you would have to do this e-signature right here and hit continue. Now this will show the name of whomever is filling out the form. You know you're done when you get to this part where it says receipt, and that's in green. Once that is done, an email is sent to the regional director and the state director, letting them know that you have submitted a request for intake, and you'll be copied in on it as well. From there, we'll go into the regional director's dashboard just to show you what they see. It's taking its time a little bit. And then they'll see that your chapter will be listed with an activity for them to approve or deny. Now, once they do approve or deny, you'll get copied in an email letting you know this information so you can know whether you can proceed or not. You'll also have a summary report which will show all of the MIP activities, and I'll show you that toward the end so you can see what it all looks like once the process is completed. So let's say that your intake has been approved by the regional director. Your next step, of course, is going to be having interviews with your possible applicants. When you have these interviews, you'll need to click the Submit Candidate Evaluation forms. You will have to do this for each candidate. So you go to Chapter Management, Action, Submit Candidate Evaluation forms, hit Continue, click on this clear box, hit Continue from there. And as you see, this is exactly what the paper candidate evaluation form look like. However, it's digital. And of course, all of the fields and the answers are required. This is where you can put the notes. This is where you can say if they're accepted or not. Why? You have your various categories and the drop down of the points. At the bottom, you put the total points and the point average. And just like how you did on the PBS 7C, once all this is filled out, you would then hit continue, and it's going to ask you for an e-signature. Once you do that e-signature, just like what happened previously, the email message will be sent to the regional director, letting him know that you have put in your candidate evaluation forms on the various candidates, and you will be updated as well on your MIP activity summary. So let's say your candidate evaluation forms have all been approved, and you're ready for the next step. You've started your MIP process, and you're at a certain point. You can submit applicants right here. This is where we're asking you to submit the basic information for the candidates so they can be put in the system. We go to Chapter Management, Actions, Submit Applicants. You then hit Continue. You see these right here. You have a name, last name, email address, mobile phone number, address, city, state, zip, birthday, and of course a legacy or Sigma Beta. You do this is we're gonna do name, necessarily need to put a phone number in there, but you do need to put an email and an address. City and state, along with the zip. And once you fill out these fields, you will hit add person. Alright, we're just going to hit OK because I apparently used that name in the test before. And they're going to appear in this bottom section. Now, I want to let you brothers know, just because you see these brothers in this bottom section does not mean you're done. They will not be fully shown in the database until you've entered all of your applicants and add person after each time. And then, once you see all of those people here, you will then hit continue. We'll type in application date, so we're going to use today. And let's say if you have multiple applicants, you can hit apply all. And of course, if you're a graduate chapter and you're putting in associate members, please select if they are an associate member or not. Hit continue. And you do an e-signature. Like in all the previous steps, once this is done, that is when the regional director is notified that you've entered in new member information. And the note that you're fully done also is to look for this receipt stage to be lit in green. And once you have done that, you also will need to submit completed MIP forms for the candidate. This is where you will have the candidate fill out the various pages of the application, which include the hold harmless agreement, the anti-hazing forms, and sign those. And then you would upload it for each candidate. How you would do that is go to chapter management, actions, and then hit submit completed MIP forms for the candidate. Then hit continue. Select the clear box next to on demand. And you would do this for each candidate. So if you are uploading the form, you'll type the candidate's first name, last name, confirm that all forms are in there. So that would be the total PBS2 form with the hold harmless and anti-hazing forms. That would be the scanned copy of the birth certificate and or transcript. You would want to combine that into one PDF file, spit out this information, and then attach it by clicking just choose file button right here. And you would do that for each candidate. You would then hit continue. It's going to ask you for an e-signature. And like the previous steps, you do the e-signature and hit submit. And then that is only when it goes to the regional director. And you know for sure when this is done, when this receipt stage over here is in green. Now, as you go through the process, we're trying to make it easier for the chapters to know the progress of their MIP package. So, we've created a report that tracks the MIP activity for a period. So I'm going in the line system to show you what one looks like completed with one of our beta chapters. Okay. So you go to chapter management, go to reports, and you'll see MIP activity by intake period. You click that. And this chapter did it in spring 18. So we're refreshing. And right here shows everything they did for the spring when it came to intake. You see the intake approval. When they submitted that, when it was last updated, the last editor, if it's approved, should have the regional director's name. It shows you what dates you selected It tells you the current stage. See the MIP forms. You'll see the link. So you have access to what you submitted at any time. Same thing with candidate eval. And then, of course, it shows when payment was done. And, of course, it shows the current stage. So even if it's pending, it's going to show pending. If it's denied, it's going to show denied, as you see right there. So you can keep track of the process from beginning to end. And when you see everything has been approved, you'll also get an email to let you know when everything's approved. Then you can get to the payment section. And you access the payment section by, let me go to another test that I did where I went through all the stages. Every time to come up. In the meantime, you'll see it in the finance section under action. It's going to be broken into two parts. One is going to be submit payment, other one is for manage dues. In the submit payment section, it's going to show all the materials where you can pay for right there. And then in the manage dues is going to be those 2 years that the new member gets upon joining. Sign me out. So I'm going to show you how it is. And everything I'm showing you is in the test portal, but same fields and reports that you're seeing is in the live for when MIP starts. So I'm going to show you this payment for some tests that I put in earlier with finance, action, submit payments. All right. And this is from what I did yesterday. New members. I want to expand to see everything, the detail of what I'm paying for. I click that arrow, and it's going to expand. And it's going to show the two people that I put in for this chapter and itemize what I'm paying for when it comes to materials. You would select the box next to the amount, and then you will put in the card information and hit submit. Now, once that is done, you will then have to go back into finance, actions, manage member dues. Hit continue. All right, you can see the new members for the respective years. Looks like 18 and 19. Hit continue. And then you'll put in the card information. Now, brothers, whether you know, don't try to piecemeal these payments. Don't try to do, payment on the material side, and then decide to try to do payment on the dues side much later and expect the materials on time. Just like how we've been previously doing when you mailed in the payments, everything has to be at once. It's not a piecemeal type process where you pay for the materials and decide maybe just to pay for 1 year dues and not the other year dues. So it's still the same. The price of new members has not changed. We're just offering a new way for you to pay it for so it can be faster and more efficient. And that's pretty much it from start to finish. Once the payment is received, that's when the new brothers will receive membership numbers and when their materials will be shipped out. Now, for collegiate chapters, how we have it set up is that the new member materials will be sent to advisors unless it is communicated to us otherwise. And for alumni chapters, the new membership materials will be shipped to the MIP chair unless communicated otherwise.
One more thing, hey, Aaron. We still didn't do the market initiation thing. We didn't do that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's one last piece, and this is why we have to have the payment. In order for these guys to get their member numbers generated, there's one more step. When you manage the applicants, you have to actually mark them for initiation. And the only way they're able to be, the initiation checkbox is clear, is if we have marked them as received the money. And you mark them as initiation, that's what changes them from an applicant to a member. You put the correct initiation date. Now, you can put this can be done in advance, and you can put the initiation date as a future date. What that will mean is they will not convert from an applicant to a member until that date. So if you put the initiation date as sometime next year, and then you're wondering why they never converted, that's why. We've had that happen a couple times in the test, so I'm bringing this up now. You have to mark them as initiated, and Aaron's going to show you that in a second. And what that does is that is the final step in the process that actually takes all the information we have on them in the system. Right now they're an applicant. That creates the new member number, just like the one you have. That's what gives them the next member number up, and that's what says, okay, you're no longer an applicant. Now you're either a collegiate or an alumni new brother.
That is correct.
And that's why
that is.
Go ahead, Aaron.
You go to chapter management actions and manage applicants. Hit continue. It's taking its time. You'll see their names. Now, here's the key thing. You see how initiation is blocked out? It's blocked out because I didn't pay for them. I did not pay for any of these brothers where you see it grayed out. So it doesn't, like Mark was saying earlier, it's not going to allow you to initiate these brothers if you have not paid for them in full. So if you try to pay for this one part and not the other part, you're not going to be able to initiate them. We're not going to send out the stuff, and they will not have member numbers. But, for instance, for the test subject that I did pay for, I'm clicking the one next to their names, hitting continue, and this is where I put an initiation date. So maybe let's put in today, apply on, just for the demonstration state, and then hit continue. And then, like everything else, you have to do an e-signature, so you can know who did it and when. And then, when you want to complete the action of turning them from this applicant stage to a new member, you hit continue, and it's done because the receipt is in green. And usually it takes about a few minutes, and then the membership number populates, and they are now in the system officially as a new member of Phi Beta Sigma.
And they will show up on your chapter rosters immediately afterwards.
That is correct. I know I've been going in the chat because I know Mark has been doing a great job of answering questions. But are there any questions, brothers? I want you to type it in the chat. I think Mark is still in there. And see, Brother Muscalata had a suggestion in the live portion. We did reorder it to reflect the process better, so a better user experience. So of course, with the
we could cover it though. I think what he's asking is like, could we put like, for example, changes to say not only that name but like MIP step 1 this MIP. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, do you think we could totally do that? Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll do that. Will the membership numbers be issued immediately by the system? Yes, they will.
And as far as the one payment thing, the way that the system was set up, we tried to make it into one payment, but it didn't come through in the way that we would have liked. So we're currently still working with the work with the developer on getting the solution where the payment can be all done at once. Right now, everything's going to be split into two separate payments, one for the materials and the other one for the dues.
And the reason why, just for full disclosure, because those prices are the same. The material prices and the application fees are the same for every new candidate depending upon his member type, right? But the actual annual dues are categorized by where that brother is located, right? So each region has a different dues code for grad and undergrad. There's 7 different prices for each region for grad and undergrad. And it was more important to make sure that we calculate all the correct fees and make sure everything balances correctly in order to do this. So we didn't want to push it out until we could have that one consolidated experience. So it was more important to get it out there and get brothers used to doing this process, and we will augment the payments as we go along, right? So we're starting with Visa and MasterCard, and we can always add more payment types as we go along. And the question was, can you submit fees separately? I believe you're saying per candidate is the question being asked. Is that correct? Aaron, are you there?
What was that? It's going to be submitted per candidate? No. All of the, like you saw in the finance tab for the materials, that's all lumped together. So you would have to do it all together.
Brother KZOG, PayPal is definitely on our radar. The payment types, the choice of payment types is sort of dictated by cost. So as we receive checks and money orders, there's processing costs. When we receive credit cards and things like that, there's processing costs. Those type of decisions of what costs we incur and who to pass it on to are decided at a level above us, right? That's Treasury and Finance. For now, these are just the payment types that we're able to support. But those kind of decisions kind of happen above our pay grade. I know that's sounds like we're punting it, but it is the actual correct answer.
I see a question about
Brother Macaulay asked about, there was Brother Macaulay's question about when you complete the application information and submit the payments and provide the information, initiation date, when will materials be mailed?
Oh, it's usually mailed within a week or two of us receiving everything, and we ask you to do it at least 2 weeks out prior to initiation date. Of course, we can get it out faster than 2 weeks, but we want to make sure that there's no hiccups in the system. We make sure that the certificates and materials are received on time by initiation date. So we're asking whether to still have everything in within 2 weeks, and to not try to put it in within the same week of initiation, judging by we don't know exactly where we might be shipping stuff to, depending on where your chapter is located, and we're based on the East Coast. So we're asking you brothers to submit at least within 2 weeks of an initiation date, and then they usually be out within a week, no more than a week.
Brother Ramsey Cooper asked, is there a video available if needed for a refresher? And the answer is yes. We are recording this session. We recorded last night. We're going to post the one that covers it the best. We're going to post in the BluPrint member portal. Is there a process for refunding an applicant's money if he withdraws his membership request or fails to complete the membership process? Yes, but we will have to deal with that offline. There is a process for all that, and yes, finance at headquarters are able to do that. Is it done through the system? The answer is no.
Yeah, it's not through the actual system, no. That's you get in contact with the regional director, and the regional director then letting us know that that person has withdrawn through the process, and that's when we do the refund. I saw a question about an MIP chair completing the member application in the BluPrint. Yes, I hope that the MIP chair is completing that, and the actual paper application is being filled up the candidate, because like as we said earlier, there's legal documents within that PBS-1 form, such as the anti-hazing agreement and the hold harmless, which that applicant would have to sign and a witness would have to sign as you guys read that form, and then that is scanned in to the BluPrint.
Are the candidates giving us the payment and we're depositing the money into our account and then using our ATM or credit card to submit the payment? Brother Jamal Muhammad, the answer is yes. That is exactly what we are doing. The idea here is no more payments being missing in the mail or anything like that. We have a recorded transaction of when it was received, by whom, etc. This is the way we're trying to combat fee losses. I'm not going to say fee crimes. I'm going to say fee disappearances. The answer is yes. That is exactly what we are doing.
And I also saw that will partial payments be accepted for the candidates in the blueprint? No, there is no partial payments.
Sorry.
Brother Mortimer, the shipment, the methods of shipment for materials, especially international. So what we usually use for international is UPS. We haven't had an issue yet when it comes to sending new member materials for our chapters that are located outside of the United States. So we should be still good using UPS for our international shipments. Let's see. Any questions? I'm still going down.
For the holiday, we have recorded last night's session where we covered this. We covered tonight's. I actually think tonight's was a little better than last night, and I will try to have this particular session on the Blueprint member portal by the end of the week. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take control back, Aaron, if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem.
And I'm going to show you guys where you can find not only the MIP material, the MIP forms, but where you can find where the recording will be. Brother Dr. Theo Fowles of my home chapter asks, is there a 4% usage fee? And the answer is yes. So if you were to log on to the Blueprint member portal, that is members.phi-beta-sigma1914.org, which takes you to the home page of the Blueprint. You log in. When you want to find all of your MIP forms, you can go to Documents and Training Info. And the very first option is Phi Beta Sigma Forms, Documents, and Policies. This is our new consolidated document library. So every document that we have on the Blueprint, you find them here. Right? Everything from your conclave transcripts, your constitution, and right here where it says Phi Beta Sigma membership forms. We'll expand this folder here, and you see here are all your PBS forms numbered and the descriptions and instructions for all the PBS forms. If you want to know where is the MIP manual, the membership intake process manual, all of these things are now located in one consolidated place. That is, again, if you log into the Blueprint member portal and you go to Documents and Training Info, and it's Forms, Documents, and Policies. Now, if we want to find tonight's presentation, there's another link under that same menu item called Presentation Videos. That's the same place where you'll find the credit seminar we did a few weeks ago. It will be the very top option here. As soon as we get the recording, it usually takes about 24 hours. We will have it here where you click on Presentation Videos. And as you see, the Restoring Rebuilding credit from last month is there. It'll be the very first one you can see. So you'll just go right here. You can click the play button. It'll play right here from the Blueprint. But again, everything you brothers need should be under Documents and Training Info. So you have, for call recordings are our past international calls, presentation videos are things, are webinars, things like this that we've done for the brothers. This is where you can find them. Again, the Blueprint member portal, Documents and Training Info, you get your forms here, you get your presentation videos here. Any other questions, brother? And again, if you brothers have any questions from tonight's presentation, please reach out to us. Brother Aaron Lewis's contact information, his email address is membership@phi-beta-sigma1914.org. And mine, Brother Mark Canellas, is technology at Phi Beta Sigma 1914.org. If you are a state director and you don't have your state director access, if you are a regional director and for whatever reason you don't have your access, I don't know how you don't, you guys need to reach out to me. Especially you state directors. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to your regional directors, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you guys something else here. Here in the chapter portal, and a lot of you brothers have probably never seen this, is that we provide a level of reporting across the entire fraternity. All of you chapter officers have access to this portal, but typically you don't see anything past finance. You state directors out there, you have a consolidated MIP activity report across your entire state. So all you state directors need to be logging in here, and you need to be checking this out to know what's going on in your state. Every time somebody submits one of these, you can see it in a report. Regional directors, regional first vice directors, you have the same access at your region. You have MIP activity reports by chapter that's telling you, brother first vice regional directors, membership chairs, what's going on across your entire region. You see here, we've got it state by state. You see what's going on for these chapters. So as you can see, we have chapters already. We have chapters that are already participating in the intake process. So brothers, if you are a state director and you need that access, please reach out to me directly, Brother Mark Cadenas. Send me an email at technology@phi-beta-sigma-1914, and please copy your regional director, and we can get that access done for you in a couple of minutes. I just wanted to make sure that you brothers understood that not only is that data going into the system, but it is coming back out so that you state directors, so you state and regional directors, regional officers, you guys have insight into what's going on. So you don't have to call headquarters and ask, what's going on in my region? You have real-time data. As you see, it tells you what you see here is the intake submission activity by chapter for fall 28, and it is as of right now. So everything that's happening in these reports is happening real-time. Brother Sterling asked the question, if your PBS 7C is not approved in the system, you probably should not want to go forward with intake, because in that case, you don't have an approved intake and you are out of compliance with the MIP process.
That is correct. You would be in violation of the MIP process if you were to have a informational without regional director approval.
And that we had in the system that you had this pending and not approved would pretty much be a smoking gun. The good news here, brothers, is we do these things, though, to protect you and your fraternity, right? We know this data so that when these things happen and people say we did things that we know we didn't do, we have record of what's approved and what's not approved and what's supposed to be happening. And the idea here is to keep people from taking your hard-earned money from your fraternity for things that they're not supposed to do. And so everything we're doing here is about making sure things happen the way they're supposed to happen and that you, the brothers, are protected. Any other questions, brothers? Please do not be shy, and if you are shy, you can email us, you can text, Facebook me if you want, whatever. We're cool. We like questions. We're here to do this for you guys.
Exactly, and feedback is highly encouraged too, brothers. This is a new process, and of course we want to make it as good as possible, and we can't do that without you all feedback as we go on.
And remember, brothers, this is not the end state, right? This is the beginning. This is just the first step to getting this process going along. Brother Collins asked, what is the average lead time to get an answer on a 7C? That's a good question. The technical answer is that's between you and your regional director. When are they notified? Within 24 hours. Do we know? When do we know there's an outstanding PBS 7C? Immediately. Do we track outstanding PBS 7Cs? Yes, we do. So if you're not getting them notified, we know that they're pending, and we can get on these regional directors and make sure that they're taking care of their queue. We do know what is pending for them to approve and not approve, so we have visibility into that as well as the regional directors do themselves.
Now, also, brothers, please be remembered as part of the MIP certification, it is said in there that the 7C should be submitted 14 to 28 days prior to the informational. So if you follow that, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to get a response from the regional director in time for your informational to stay along with your process.
And we also provided this training to all the regional directors a few weeks ago. So the regional directors know the process as well. They know, they've actually, believe it or not, we've been using the same chapter portal to do transfers and other internal processes for years. So the regional directors are used to getting emails for approvals and things like that. And we've got 7 great regional directors. They all log into the system. They all know how to check their queue. And getting these things turned around is not an issue.
Correct.
Any other questions, brother? All right with that. Okay, brother Dr. Fowles, we got one more. Come on. I can't cut off my own chapter, brother, and then we got a chapter meeting on Sunday. Brother Dr. Fowles, we're waiting on your question. Is the physical PBS2 application ever submitted to us? The answer is no. We don't need it.
Now that's part of the MIP complete.
Oh, it's actually part of the doc now? Okay. My correction. You submit that. The scanned PBS2 will go with the MIP form, but the information off the PBS2 is what comes from the submit application. My bad. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, because that hold harmless and everything is actually part of the PBS too. So
right. So no,
yeah, that's going to be.
It's not submitted separately. It goes with the hold harmless and all the other documents. Sorry, my correction. Sorry. We want to make sure we say the right things. We want to make sure we tell you guys the correct information. So. All right, with that, brothers, I'm going to end the recording and wish all of you brothers a good night. And we thank you all for joining. We're going to have another session next week on September 11th. If you think of questions between now and then, by all means, feel free to join our next session.
And we have input from Southwest Regional Director, Brother Michael Murray, and that is that the RD has to verify all brothers on the PBS7C are certified, and that does take time. So don't expect to get approval with a 7C within an hour or something. You got to give these brothers some time to take their due diligence to make sure these brothers are MIP certified, because that protects your fraternity, brothers.
All right.
All right, brothers.
We thank you for joining, and brothers, you have a good night.
Good night.